The house was too quiet that night, quiet in a way that felt wrong. I came home early, Thai takeout in hand, ready to surprise my wife, Lauren. But before I could even call out her name, I froze. Her voice drifted down the hallway. She wasn't talking to me. She was on the phone. And then I heard it. It was my first time trying a Dark Johnson, and I want more. The words hit me like a punch to the chest. My grip tightened around the greasy bag, the heat burning my palm. Then came her giggle, light, playful, the kind of sound she hadn't made for me in years. That laugh wasn't mine anymore. Kelsey, her best friend, chuckled on the other end. I knew it was her by the faint speakerphone crackle. Lauren's voice dropped low, soft, like she was confessing a sin. Asterisk. I didn't expect it to be that good. I thought it was hype. But now, God, I can't stop thinking about it. Asterisk. My mouth went dry. Food. A drink? Some inside joke I didn't get? I begged myself to believe it. But the way she whispered, hungry, aching, this wasn't about a recipe. It was about a man. And not me. Kelsey asked something I couldn't catch. Lauren's reply cut through me like a blade. Asterisk. No, Nate would never understand. He's too safe. Too predictable. That's why I'm thinking of suggesting we open things up. That way, I don't have to sneak around. Asterisk. Sneak around. The words spun in my head until I almost dropped the bag. My wife, my partner of 15 years, talked about our marriage like it was a cage. And she thought I was the problem. Too safe. Too predictable. My chest burned. Rage clawed at me, begging to storm in, to demand answers, to watch her face when I repeated her own words back to her. But my legs carried me the other way. Out the door. Into my car. I sat in the dark for 20 minutes, hands shaking too hard to even grip the wheel. Her voice wouldn't leave me. Asterisk. It was my first time. I want more. Asterisk. When I finally walked back inside, she was in the kitchen, humming, phone tucked away like nothing ever happened. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. Babe, you got Thai? She kissed my cheek. Sweet. Innocent. Fake. Yeah. I muttered, forcing a smile. Thought you'd be hungry. The smell of curry filled the room. But all I tasted was betrayal. She laughed. She talked about her day. She looked me right in the eye like she hadn't just shattered everything. And I smiled back, pretending. That night she curled against me, head on my chest, body warm against mine. To anyone else, we were a picture-perfect couple. But I stared at the ceiling, wide awake, my heart hammering. Because I knew the truth now. She had already cheated. And tomorrow she was planning her next move. The morning hit me like a hangover without the booze. I shaved, showered, made coffee, going through the motions, but everything felt hollow. Across the table, Lauren sat scrolling her phone, robes sliding off one shoulder. Same woman I'd woken up next to for 15 years. But in my head, her voice kept replaying from the night before. It was my first time. I want more. She caught me staring. What? She smirked. Nothing. I swallowed coffee that tasted like dirt. Her phone buzzed. Kelsey. She flipped it face down, quick. Not answering. Not letting me see. That tiny flick of her wrist cut deeper than any words. She wasn't even trying to hide it well. I sat at my desk all day pretending to work, staring at blank screens while she ran errands. Every time my phone dinged, my chest tightened, hoping for a slip-up, a confession, something. But it was never her. Just bills. Spam. Silence. By dinner, I almost convinced myself she'd bury it. Keep her little secret tucked away. But no. After we cleared the plates, she leaned forward, eyes sparkling like she was about to sell me on some brilliant new idea. Nate, she whispered, I've been thinking. About us. About our marriage. My pulse kicked hard. I forced my face still. Okay. She reached for my hand. Cold fingers. Stranger's touch. We've always said honesty matters most, right? That we can talk about anything. Here it comes. Yeah, I muttered. She stroked my knuckle, as if she needed to calm me, before detonating the bomb. I think we should consider opening our marriage. The word slid out like she was suggesting a new restaurant, not torching the foundation of our life together. I repeated it slowly, each syllable heavy. Opening our marriage. Her face lit up like I'd given her a gift. Yeah, lots of couples do it. It's not bad, it's freedom. Excitement. For both of us. My gut twisted. For both of us. That was her cover. A selfish itch dressed up as fairness. I leaned back, eyes fixed on her. So what does that look like? She brightened instantly, relieved I wasn't screaming. It could mean dating other people, exploring, but with rules, with respect. Respect. I nearly laughed. She'd already trashed that word with her little dark Johnson adventure. Now she wanted to brand betrayal as respectful. I nodded slowly, playing along. And this is what you really want. Her eyes gleamed, squeezing my hand like she was confessing some beautiful dream. Yes, I really do. It could bring us closer, Nate. Imagine, no lies, no resentment. Just honesty. Every muscle in me screamed to expose her, to rip the mask off. But instead, I smiled. Tight. Controlled. Okay. She blinked. Okay. Yeah. If that's what you want, then sure. Let's open the marriage. For a second, she froze. Then, she lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. She actually clapped her hands. Oh my God, Nate. I can't believe you're being so understanding. I forced a shrug. Hey, if it makes you happy. She launched into a dizzying list. Rules, boundaries, dating apps, even a bucket list of fantasies. Her cheeks flushed, her hands flying as she talked. She was glowing, ecstatic, and the whole time, I just nodded. Calm, steady. But inside me, something sharp and cold was forming. Because Lauren thought she'd won. Thought she'd sold me on her fantasy while keeping her safety net intact. But she had no idea. She had just handed me the cleanest way out I could have ever asked for. And tomorrow she'd learn what my version of an open marriage really looked like. The morning after I agreed to open the marriage, Lauren was lit up like a firework. She woke before the alarm, humming in the shower, blasting music while slamming drawers and snapping her straightener shut. I lay there, eyes closed, listening, pretending to sleep while my chest felt like a cinder block. She kissed my forehead before leaving for work. You're the best husband in the world, she whispered. The words almost broke me, not because I believed them, but because she did. She honestly thought I was on board. When her car disappeared down the street, I sat up and stared at the wall. My stomach was hollow, but my mind was razor sharp. She wanted freedom? Then freedom was exactly what she'd get. No rage. No smashed dishes. No dramatic scene. Just cold precision. I'd been planning since the night I overheard her confession. Now it was execution time. I packed only what mattered: clothes, important documents, passport, and a small box of keepsakes. The rest? Furniture, appliances, the perfect vibe, pieces she dragged me to buy on weekends. They stayed. They belonged to her world, not mine. By noon, the truck was full. I walked the house one last time. The living room carried her perfume. The couch still indented from her favorite spot. The kitchen trash held Thai containers from 2 nights ago, a cruel reminder of where this had all started. Everything looked normal, but none of it felt like mine anymore. On the counter, beside her neat little bowl of lemons, I set down my wedding ring. Dead center. No note. No explanation. Just the silence she had earned. I locked the door, turned the key, and drove away without looking back. At 6, she breezed in, glowing, heels clicking on the hardwood. In her head, life was just beginning. Nate? You home? She called, tossing her purse on the counter. Silence. She checked the garage. My truck, gone. Maybe groceries, she thought. Maybe errands. She kicked off her heels, humming as she headed upstairs. But the closet door gaped wide. My side was stripped bare. Shirts, jackets, shoes, all gone. Her humming died. She yanked open drawers. Empty. She pulled back the covers, checked the nightstand. No charger. No watch. Nothing. Her chest tightened. She stumbled downstairs, nearly tripping over her purse. In the kitchen, she stopped cold. My ring, right there on the counter, gleaming under the light. Her hands shook as she picked it up. No, her voice cracked. No, no, no. She spun in circles, desperate for an answer that wasn't there. The rooms echoed back nothing. No note. No message. Just absence. Her phone buzzed. Kelsey. She snatched it up like a drowning woman grabbing a rope. He's gone, she blurted, voice ragged. Kels, he's gone. Everything's gone. On the other end, her friend muttered reassurances. He'll be back. He just needs space. But Lauren knew better. She slid down against the cabinet, clutching my ring in her palm like it burned. Tears streaked her face, her sobs filling the house that suddenly felt too big, too empty. Because in all her thrill over freedom, she'd forgotten one thing. Freedom cuts both ways. And when she opened the marriage, she never expected I'd be the one to walk out first. When I rolled out of the driveway, I never touched the rearview mirror. Not once. Not because I didn't care, but because I knew the second I saw that house shrinking, the porch light she always left on for me, the flower beds she insisted we plant every spring, I might slam the brakes, crawl back, and let her win. The windows were down, summer air blasting my face as the truck hummed north. It didn't feel like freedom yet. Not relief, not peace, just raw shock buzzing in my skull, tightening my chest. But my hands? Rock steady on the wheel. I had no mapped-out plan. I only knew one thing. I couldn't stay. So I pointed the truck toward the lake, toward my brother's old cabin. For walls, a roof, and enough distance for me to breathe. He owed me anyway. I built that damn deck with him last fall. The phone lit up on the passenger seat. Over and over. Lauren, where are you? Are you okay? Please talk to me. Then the calls started, one after another, her name glowing against the glass like a warning beacon. At first, I let them ring. Then I killed the sound, shoved the phone in the glove box. If I heard her voice, even for 10 seconds, she might worm her way past my resolve. And I wasn't giving her that chance. 2 towns over, I pulled into a flickering gas station, filled the tank, grabbed a plastic-wrapped sandwich and bitter coffee that tasted like scorched earth, sat in the cab, engine idling, staring at the neon buzzing overhead. For the first time that day, I let myself breathe. But the anger? It wasn't the wild kind anymore. No shouting, no smashing. It had cooled into something harder. Betrayal does that. It files down the edges of rage until all that's left is steel. I saw her in my mind, whispering about that dark Johnson, laughing like a schoolgirl, then dismissing me. Too safe, too predictable. That was the knife. Not the cheating, not the sneaking. It was the way she said it like I was a flaw in her life. As if loyalty, dependability, the years I carried us through storms, meant nothing compared to one night of her chasing thrills. Headlights cut through the dark road as I pulled away. The further I drove, the taller the trees grew, the emptier the streets became. With each mile, the weight eased off my chest. By the time I turned onto the gravel path, the clock on the dash blinked just past 10. The cabin stood there in shadow, quiet as a tomb. I pushed the key in, swung open the door, and flicked the light. Cedar. Dust. A spider web in the corner by the window. Otherwise untouched. Honest. I dropped my bags, collapsed on the sagging couch, and stared at the bare walls. It wasn't home. Not yet. But it was mine. A beer hissed open in my hand. I took a long pull, leaned back, and let the silence wrap around me like armor. From the glove box, my phone buzzed again. She was still reaching, still clawing. But tonight, her voice could scream into the void. Because for the first time in 15 years, the void belonged to me. And that's when it hit me, like a clean, sharp truth. I wasn't the one trapped anymore. She was. Lauren didn't sleep that night. She twisted in the sheets, reaching for the cold, empty space where I'd always been. She whispered to herself that I was bluffing, that maybe I'd just gone to a buddy's place to prove a point. She clung to the fantasy that by morning I'd storm back through the door, grumpy, but still hers. Morning came. The house stayed silent. She sat at the kitchen counter, phone in one hand, staring at the ring gleaming under the light. Every few minutes, she refreshed her messages, praying for that little typing bubble. Nothing. The longer she waited, the heavier the air pressed down on her chest. By 10, she was pacing the living room, phone clutched to her chest. Another call. Straight to voicemail. This time she left a message, her voice shaky and thin. Nate, I don't know what's happening, but please come home. We can talk. I didn't mean to scare you. I thought it would be exciting for us. I thought you'd want it too. She hung up fast, cheeks burning, embarrassed even though no one was there to see her. When Kelsey's name flashed, Lauren answered in a heartbeat. He left, she choked. Kels, he really left. His stuff's gone. His ring's on the counter. On the other end, her friend sighed, bored. He's just being dramatic. Give him space. He'll be back. No. Lauren's voice cracked. Her eyes darted to the gaping closet upstairs. This isn't a fight. He's gone. For real. Well, maybe that's good. Maybe now you'll see what it feels like to have power. Lauren bit her lip hard, shaking. It didn't feel like power. It felt like falling off a cliff. She drifted through the house, fingers trailing over everything I'd left behind. The couch arm, The framed photos. The coffee mug I always used. Nothing had moved, yet everything was wrong. Without me, the place felt cavernous, like a stranger's house she didn't belong in. By afternoon, the panic sharpened. She tried my brother. No answer. She scrolled my contacts, hovering over co-workers' names, then stopped cold. What would she even say? My husband left because I wanted to sleep with strangers? She ended up on the bathroom floor, knees pulled tight, sobbing into her hands. Over and over, she heard her own voice. I think we should open our marriage. She'd expected a fight, maybe even a screaming match. She hadn't expected my calm, okay. And she definitely hadn't expected silence to follow. It was supposed to be thrilling, liberating. But instead, she'd pulled one thread too many, and now the whole fabric of her marriage was unraveling in her lap. By nightfall, the house was dark, lit only by her phone screen. She typed messages, erased them, typed again. Finally, one went through. I'm sorry. Please come home. I didn't mean it like that. I don't want anyone else. I just want you. Her finger hovered over the screen, waiting for dots to appear. Nothing. And for the first time since she demanded more freedom, Lauren understood what that freedom really cost. Because freedom was here now, and it was crushing her. At the cabin, time didn't just slow, it fractured. No traffic, no neighbors, no endless buzzing of a phone demanding I play along. Just the groan of old wood under my boots, the drone of cicadas, the fridge kicking on like it was clearing its throat. That first morning, I sat on the porch with black coffee steaming in my hands, watching the sun burn the mist off the lake. It should have been peace. But peace can feel heavy when you don't know where the road leads. Eventually, I gave in and checked my phone. 17 missed calls. Dozens of texts. At first she begged. Then she lashed out. Then she softened. Sorry, needy. The last unread message stopped me cold. Asterisk. I didn't mean it. Please, Nate. Just come back. We can fix this. Asterisk. I powered the phone off. Because the truth was simple. There was nothing left to fix. The moment she crossed that line, whether in whispers or in someone else's arms, the rope I'd been gripping for 15 years snapped clean through. And there's no knot strong enough to tie it back. My mind drifted to the beginning. Back when her laugh lit up a room. Back when she surprised me with road trips and scribbled notes tucked in my lunch. Back when love felt like a partnership, not a performance. Somewhere along the way, safe stopped being enough for her. She wanted thrills, chaos, the gamble. Well, she placed her bet. And she lost. Inside the cabin, I opened a notepad on the table. Not a letter, not a rant, just a list. Step by step. Bank accounts to separate. Insurance to update. Attorney to call. Storage unit for what little furniture I cared to keep. The list grew. And with every line, the weight on my shoulders eased. I wasn't plotting revenge. I wasn't scheming to humiliate her. What I wanted was simpler, sharper. Freedom. Real freedom. The kind she only pretended to crave, but I was finally taking for myself. By afternoon, golden light cut through the blinds, and I cracked a beer. Leaned back. Breathed. For the first time in years, I wasn't scrambling to keep someone else happy. I wasn't measuring myself against her shifting expectations of fun or safe. I was just me, and that truth hit harder than any punch. I could picture her back home, eyes red, pacing the floors, clutching her phone like it could conjure me back. Probably crying to Kelsey, begging for a script that didn't exist. But the silence she'd earned was the only answer coming. By nightfall, I had a plan. Rough edges, sure, but enough to know I wasn't turning around. Not to that house. Not to that version of myself. I stepped onto the porch, stars sharp above the trees. My wedding band wasn't on my finger anymore. And for the first time, I didn't feel bare. I felt whole. Tomorrow, I'd start the calls. Lawyers. Banks. The first steps of a new life. And tomorrow, Lauren would face the truth she'd never expected. This wasn't a performance. It was the endgame. By the third day, Lauren looked less like the woman I married and more like a shadow wearing her skin. Dark circles under her eyes, hair matted, pacing barefoot across hardwood like a prisoner waiting on a verdict. Work? She hadn't gone. Food? Barely touched. Her entire world had shrunk to the glowing rectangle in her hand. Refreshing, scrolling, praying my name would appear. But my number stayed dead. When Kelsey finally showed up, Lauren nearly collapsed into her arms. He's not answering me, she whispered, shaking. It's been days, Kels. His clothes are gone. His ring's here, but he's not. What if he never comes back? Kelsey sighed, stroking her back like a mother calming a child. Then maybe he wasn't the man you thought. Maybe it's a blessing. You can start fresh, live the life you wanted. Lauren's head snapped up, eyes burning. The life I wanted him. I thought. Her voice cracked raw. I thought he'd fight for me. I thought he'd care enough to stop me. The words rattled against the walls, too heavy to ignore. Even Kelsey shifted uncomfortably, muttered something about giving me time, and slipped out, leaving only the faint trace of perfume in the air. Alone again, Lauren tore through the house like a thief hunting for evidence. Drawers yanked open, the safe rifled, garage shelves searched. Nothing. I'd been careful. Clean. Erased. Desperation drove her to call my brother. Twice before he answered. Is Nate with you? She blurted, skipping hello. A pause. His tone came flat, clipped. Why? Because he left. He's gone. Please, just tell me if he's okay. Another pause, heavier this time. She could hear him grinding his teeth. Finally, he muttered, he's fine. Don't call me again. And the line went dead. Her pulse hammered in her ears. Fine. He was fine. Which meant I wasn't lost. I was choosing distance, choosing silence, choosing not her. That night she sat on the living room floor, surrounded by picture frames stripped from the walls. Anniversaries, birthdays, vacations, the polished snapshots of a life she thought unbreakable. Tears blurred the glass as she traced my face with shaking fingers. She grabbed her phone, opening our old thread. She scrolled back through years, jokes, late night I love yous, the kind of words that once felt permanent. Then she typed, Asterisk, I messed up. I thought I was giving us something new, something exciting. I didn't mean to lose you. Please, Nate, just tell me where you are. Tell me if I've already lost you for good. Asterisk. She hit send, set the phone down, and stared like it might glow with salvation. Minutes crawled. An hour. 2. Nothing. The silence pressed in, louder than any argument, sharper than any insult. For the first time, Lauren felt what freedom really cost. It wasn't thrilling. It was suffocating. Empty. As midnight bled into morning, she curled up on the couch, clutching my ring in her fist, whispering apologies into the dark. Apologies meant for a man who wasn't listening, and who might never listen again. The call to the attorney came first. 30 minutes of legal talk, assets, accounts, custody questions that didn't apply since there were no kids. When I hung up, I felt lighter, like someone had finally untied the rope I'd been strangling myself with for years. Next came the bank. New account in my name only. Direct deposit shifted. Joint credit card frozen. The teller stamped papers, slid them across the desk, and smiled like it was just another Tuesday. But for me, it wasn't just Tuesday. It was the day I claimed myself back. Back at the cabin, I spread the papers across the table. Pen in hand, I realized something strange. I wasn't angry anymore. Not even bitter. Just done. And being done, truly done, came with a peace I hadn't felt in years. Curiosity made me power on my phone. Her messages lit up the screen like fireworks. Asterisk, please just come home. Asterisk. Asterisk, I didn't mean it like that. Asterisk. Asterisk, we can fix this. Asterisk. Asterisk, I'll do anything, Nate. Please. Asterisk. I scrolled, not opening a single one. Because there was nothing left to say. She thought I'd fight for her. That I'd beg. That I'd crawl. Instead, she learned what happens when a steady man finally breaks. I typed a single message. Cold, clean, final. Asterisk, Lauren, I heard everything. The night you told Kelsey about your first time. You said I was too safe. You said you wanted more. Now you have it. The house is yours. The marriage is not. Don't contact me again. My lawyer will be in touch. Asterisk. I read it twice. Hit send. My chest didn't tighten. My hands didn't shake. It was clean, like slicing through the last frayed strand of rope. Then I sat in the silence, imagining her reading it. Imagining her face when the words sank in, that there was no undoing this. Not this time. When the weight finally lifted, I stepped outside. The lake stretched out black and endless under the stars, the surface shining like shattered glass. For the first time in years, I didn't feel trapped. Didn't feel small. I felt open. I breathed deep, hands in my pockets, and let the night wash over me. Tomorrow I'd make more calls, lawyer, realtor, maybe even look for work closer to the lake. The start of something new. But tonight? Tonight belonged to me. Miles away, in a house that wasn't mine anymore. Lauren was probably still clutching my ring, staring at her phone, waiting for an answer that would never come. She had gambled everything for freedom, and she got it. What she never counted on was me discovering mine, and I wasn't about to waste it.